Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. So we are in January 2022, and I know a lot of you are in goal setting mode. I know I am. And one of the problems that a lot of people come across is that they can't even seem to come up with goals in the first place. What should I be doing? What direction should my life take this year? I'm not even sure what to do. I don't know where to start. And one of the questions you can ask yourself is, what is blocking your view of a better future? Not what you should be doing, but what's blocking your view? Because the issue a lot of the time is that we have a lack of vision and we have an inability to focus on the right thing because there are too many other things that are clouding the view of what our life is really supposed to look like. So if you ask yourself, what is blocking my view? What are my obstacles? And when you identify those obstacles, you can then attack the obstacles. When you get the obstacles out of the way, you can see clearly. You can see that there's a path ahead of you that you wouldn't have been able to see before. So how do you do that? I encourage you, and this is something a lot of people do not do. It is very simple. It is a piece of paper. Get a piece of paper, get a pen, and write down. These are the things that I think are stopping me from doing what it is that I want to do with my life. And have a good hard look at those things. And once you can write those things down, you get them out of your head. When you get them out of your head and you get them on paper, it now becomes something that you can see outside of yourself. And when you can focus on something outside of yourself, you're not taking it so personally, because a lot of the things that we tell ourselves and a lot of the limiting beliefs that we have are lies. And it's not until we write them down and we can analyze them objectively, because when it's in here, it's close to the heart and we feel it for real. But once we get it down on paper, for a lot of people, I know that that is a very helpful thing to do. So identify your obstacles. And in identifying your obstacles, you can see what you're up against. And a lot of the time you realize that what you think you're up against is really not that big, and you're able to overcome. In this past year, I was able to go through a 3-month incubator program. I wrote an ebook. I contributed to an anthology, and I still managed to keep my house in some semblance of order. My children didn't starve. My husband didn't leave me. My 4 dogs are still alive. Actually, one of them is pregnant now. So the whole idea that I didn't have time, it wasn't that I didn't have time, it was that I didn't have focus. And once I started to focus on the right areas, and once I started to deal with myself and the limiting beliefs that I had, everything was able to flow from there, and I was able to actually set goals and stick to them. So I encourage you to identify your obstacles, and when you do that, you'll be able to know what you need to push aside and what you need to keep, and then that will help you going forward. So we're gonna go on to number 2. Number 2 is, and it ties in with number 1, is that you don't believe you can do any better, right? You don't believe that your life can get any better than where it is right now. You're like, this is as good as it gets. Let me just take what I have and deal with what I have. But who told you that? Right? Who told you that this is all there was for you? The very fact that you're trying to set goals and the very fact that you're trying to do better means that you know that there is better for you. And if there is better for you, it means that you can do better. It means that this feeling of there must be something else, it's not based on a greedy spirit. It's based on truth. God has created you for more. He has created you for evolution. He has created you to become something else, something better every single day. That's why we have goals. That's why we're ambitious as people. A dog or a cat or a lion or a bear, all they want to do is just eat and sleep and survive. We're higher than that, right? And a lot of us have this mentality of eat and sleep and survive. And as human beings, there's more that we need to be, right? There's more that we need to become in order to achieve the goals that we have for our lives, right? So once you've established those goals, you have to believe that you are meant for more. You have to believe you were created with a purpose. You were created. Nobody makes anything just for the sake of making it, right? It's always going to have some specific function, even if it's to beautify. If a piece of art doesn't have a function in that it's not a tool, but it can bring peace, it can bring joy, it can bring a smile to someone's face, it can provoke thought, it can start a conversation. So it has purpose, right? So how much more you have purpose too. I'm a Christian, so I can only speak from this perspective. And what greatly changed this for me was looking in the scripture and seeing what God says about me. And when I weighed that against what I was saying to myself, I realized I've been lying to myself for a long time. And when I started to listen to what God said about me, I started to behave differently, and my goals started to be different. My goals started to be bigger and broader than what I was doing before, because I see myself rather, the way that God sees me, right? So I want to encourage you to do that as well. Number 3, you don't have time or money to add anything to your life. That is not true. That is not true. Look at how you're spending your time. I'm going to deal with time first, right? Because when it comes to money, we can get very sensitive and we can get very protective, and we can have a very limiting talk about what money is actually available to us. So let's talk about time. How much TV are you watching, right? How much hanging out are you doing? You say you have goals, but how much of your time is being contributed to actually working towards those goals, actually learning the things that you need to learn, actually investing in yourself? And when I say investing, I don't mean money. Investing in actually just sitting with yourself, giving yourself the time to dream. That's an investment in your goals. Giving yourself the time and the space that you need to figure out what it is that you want from your life. That's an investment. So you can take an hour and sit with yourself. You can take an hour and work out what it is that you're trying to do. You can take an hour, you can take a free seminar online, take some notes and figure out some action steps after and start to implement. Give up the hour and a half that you would have taken to watch a movie, right? To Netflix and chill. And I'm not saying that those things aren't enjoyable and those things aren't necessary, because they are. I think entertainment has its place, but it can't be the focus of all your time and all your energy. And also, if you want to make money, because for a lot of us, a lot of our goals are centered around making money. If you want to make money, you're going to have to invest something. You're going to have to invest something. And if you don't have a lot, then you start with a little bit. You start with a small investment. Research. Find online workshops. Right now, Rachel Luna has an online workshop and it's $11. I'll put the link in case you want to start it. They start on January 10th. $11 for an online workshop. And you put in the work and you do what it is that you have to do in order to get where you want to get. So don't tell yourself that you don't have time. Don't tell yourself that you don't have money. Don't tell yourself that you don't have energy, because you do, because you're giving time and money and energy to other areas. That's why you don't have the time and money and energy that you need for your goals. So it takes a serious reevaluation, and I encourage you to sit with this and really look at how you're spending your time, how you're spending your money, how you're spending your energy. These things are currency that you're using to buy the future. What kind of future are you purchasing with the practices that you're doing today? So just think about that. Number 4, you keep dealing with the same issues repeatedly. You keep coming up against the same obstacles. You keep having the same problems. You keep having the same conversations over and over again. Take a hard look. Have you learned the lessons? Have you taken time to process what happened? Or are you stuck in your ways and still doing the same things that you were doing in order to get the results that you're getting. Now, I don't know what area this is in your life, but this could apply to pretty much everything. It could apply to weight loss. It could apply to relationships. It could apply to your job. It could apply to your spiritual walk. It could apply to anything. Are you actually doing anything differently to get different results? Or are you just saying, you know what, this is how I am. This is the way it is. This is the way I'm going to do it. And everything else has to adjust to fit whatever it is that my need is. When we don't learn the lessons, we can't move on in a productive way. So these cycles just keep repeating themselves, and we find ourselves in the same problems, getting frustrated over and over and over again, but it's because we haven't done anything differently. So try to do something different. Try to come up with a different strategy. Try to sit back, look, and objectively evaluate the situation that you just went through and see, is there any way that I could have contributed to what happened? Is there anything that I can do differently going forward? What have I learned from this experience? And how can I take this experience of okay, let's look at last year. How can I take this experience of what happened to me in this year? If it happens again, what am I gonna do differently? Right? How am I gonna move different? I'm gonna move different 2022. How am I gonna move different? What am I gonna do? How am I gonna approach this situation the next time that it happens? So that the next time it happens, if it happens, it's not gonna get the best of me. How am I gonna be the best me so that I can have the best outcome in this situation the next time? Number 5, you can't see how things could possibly change. You've been in this situation so long, you cannot see how it could possibly be any different. Are you even open to seeing and living a different reality? Are you even open to it? Because if you're not open to it, what you will attract is more of the same. If you are not open to living differently, what you're going to attract is exactly what you've been living. Year after year after year after year, you're going to keep attracting the same thing. You're going to keep getting the same results. So this is going to take some inner work. This might seem like very simple questions, and they are. But it takes work for you to be honest with yourself. What you tell yourself is it becomes your reality. You form your own reality, regardless of what is going on around you. You know how like someone can say something and then the other person's offended, and the one person is like, what are you talking about? Because in their head, they've been offended. Now, some things are blatantly offensive, right? But that person in their head, they're offended. So nothing that you say is going to change their mind, because in their head, they're offended. They've created that reality. Whereas if that person in their head was saying, I'm open to other people's opinions, what someone else tells them now doesn't become that offensive. They may even ask the question, what did you mean by that? And then when the other person explains, they say, oh, well, yeah, I could see how you could say that, but that's not really the case. And then we have a conversation instead of a conflict, because they are open to the opinions of others. You understand what I'm saying? And how things can be different because of how you posture yourself for your life. Number 6, you can't seem to come up with a plan of action. So you may have gone through these steps, or some of them, and you may already have goals. You may not have even needed steps 1 through 5. You had goals, you have them all figured out, you know what it is that you want to do, but you can't seem to come up with a plan of action. I have a coach who says clarity is in the doing, and it is so true. So I want you to figure out one thing, not the whole plan, one thing that you can do today Whatever goals that you have, whatever goals you have written down, and I encourage you to write them down and put them in a place where you could see them every single day. Write them down. What is one thing that you can do today that's going to help you on the road to achieving your goals? One thing. And some of those things, they aren't even that complicated. One of the things I needed to do to achieve my goals was to set up my website. One of the things that I did was to just enter my banking information and sign up for the website, just by the website. And it literally took me 30 seconds to do. Now, for you, it may not even be purchasing something. Say you're trying to lose weight. What's one thing that you can do today? You can exercise. And you might want to work out for an hour, but today you might not be able to work out for an hour. But you know what you could do? You could do 10 crunches and 10 squats and 10 push-ups. You can do that today. And you might be so unfit that you'll be sore tomorrow. But tomorrow you could do it again. And you can do it every day for the rest of the week. And then next week, maybe you up it to 15. Or not, you stick to the 10. But you would have started. So if you decide on one thing that's going to get you towards that goal, you would have done one more thing than what you're doing right now, which is nothing. There is room. 2022, this is January. There is room to succeed. There is room to grow. I don't want to see you stuck. I was stuck for a long time. A long, long time. And it's an awful feeling to feel trapped in your own head, to feel trapped by your own life, to feel trapped by your own circumstances. But the way out starts with one thing. I want you to start today. And if you feel like you want to share, I would love to hear, what is that one thing that you're doing to achieve your goals? And my one thing today was to record this video. And this is the end of the video, and I'm done. And I'm glancing, that took me 19 minutes and 25 seconds out of my entire day to record this video for you. And I pray that this helps you, that it encourages you, and that you really find it useful. If this video helped you, I encourage you to share it with someone. Click the thumbs up button to let me know that you liked the video, and comment below and let me know, what is your one thing that you're gonna do today to achieve your goals. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.